Happy Tuesday! Time for 2-Bit Tuesdays. So last week I talked about accidents, touched a little bit about travel insurance for international travel. So let me expound on that a little bit this week. So sometimes you're traveling internationally. What a lot of people don't realize is your health insurance is probably not going to cover you if you're out of the country. Some employer plans will do that, but generally individual coverage, you will not have coverage if you're in another country. So what can you do? So first, yes, you can buy international medical travel insurance. There's travel insurance, in case your trip's canceled, those kinds of things. But this insurance is for medical needs. It can be very important if you're not the healthiest person, because God forbid you have a heart attack or some stroke or something major where they can stabilize you, but now we got to get you back home. And that can be expensive, and the international insurance will help with that, will help get you airlifted and, all the things. So that could be very important, and it can help offset. It's important that you have insurance here because that's one of the criteria that they want. You have insurance here for known issues so that there is coverage. And again, it's just going to help offset costs, and it's not very expensive. You can use it for a very short period of time, or even longer if you're going to be gone months, even up to a year. So it's a daily rate, depending on who's traveling. Doesn't matter what age, we can get you covered. The other thing to think about is where you're traveling to. So interestingly, many countries have socialized type medicine in one form or another. Or, depending again on the country, sometimes cash is king. I've had a couple of experiences with a couple of these issues. I had a family member who was traveling in Scotland, fell, sliced their knee open, had to go to the ER, they needed stitches. They were trying to give their insurance card, which I laughed after the fact when they called me and I said they won't know what to do with that over there. Yes, typical ER, waited a long time, finally got seen, took care of the stitches. Family member left with crutches, with extra pain, Advil, not super strong pain medicine, but some basic stuff, gauze, Band-Aids, clean, all kinds of stuff, ointments, everything. And the cost, zero. Even though this member was not a citizen of Scotland, they'll treat you. Now, if it's a big thing, it's going to be a different story. If you have a heart attack or something like that, but for minor things, it was no big deal. And this is true in a lot of countries. Finding that out before you go is important. You can still get travel insurance in case, because there are some places that will ask you that. But you can also pay cash. It's an interesting concept. I had a client, family member, they were riding camels in the desert, and I don't remember which country now it was, but they were riding camels. One of the teenagers fell off the camel and broke his collarbone. They decide, obviously they stabilized the teenager. They had to transport him from the desert to a facility. They did x-rays, they did all the things to determine what was wrong. The cost for all of that was $200. Now, surgery was done here. They opted to come home, obviously, and have the surgery done here. But $200 for emergency care, that's unheard of. So you can be prepared by having cash or maybe a credit card, per se, to pay for if something happens. Then you can also have international insurance, which is also inexpensive. So in case something major happens, maybe you don't have to use international insurance. You certainly can, but if it's inexpensive, just pay cash. You want to be able to seek care if something happens. Because some places, I've heard things like certain countries kind of don't want to see you if you're not a citizen, or they don't like paying cash, which to me I don't get, but whatever. This could be true also if you're going on a cruise ship. They do have doctors on board cruise ships, but you know, last month there was that whole thing with the cruise ship being stuck in the middle of the ocean. Doctor actually got sick. There was a passenger who was a doctor who actually had to take over because the doctor caught the virus. So it was really kind of crazy. But when you're on a cruise ship, you're potentially going into other countries, and same kind of deal. You may want coverage because if you have Medicare or any of private insurance, individual, sometimes your employer insurance will cover it. But it's always good to be safe just to make sure you're covered. It'll put your mind at ease in case there's an accident and something like that. Because some countries, I've heard stories, Mexico is one of them, that they want a lot of cash up front if they're going to treat you. So international insurance could be a big deal. So get on my schedule if you're planning a trip. I can get you the quotes and get you enrolled, super easy. And until next week, peace out.